Hey everybody, welcome back to 12 Days of PODMAS of Built Like This podcast. I'm your host Maxine, on PODMAS episode 10. Excuse my blue tongue. Let's go ahead and get into these topics. I know I'm looking like somebody's grandmother, but I don't care. Okay, I haven't been on with my moo in weeks for an episode. I've been wearing my moo, but I've been changing whenever I record. But today I don't feel like changing, and you're gonna get me in my freshly silk pressed hair and my moo. So shout out to y'all. We are in the holiday season, so please excuse me. Anyway, let's get into these topics. I wanted to circle back to Jamie Foxx for a second. Let's circle back to Jamie Foxx. So with Jamie Foxx, I still haven't watched the special or whatever you call that performance he gave on Netflix, and yet I am aware of some things he discussed on the stage in that video, in that Netflix special. And one of the things he discussed is his distancing, his effort to distance himself from white women, and that he will no longer date white women. He starts to go on and on praising Black women and explaining just, how Black women are the best and yada yada yada. And he says, moving forward, me and white women will I will no longer date white women. I will no longer be with white women. And then he pauses and then he says, in public. Jamie Foxx. I don't think I've ever seen Jamie Foxx with a Black woman since the Jamie Foxx show, on the show, when he was pining over Garcelle, Miss Fancy. Outside of the show, I have not seen Jamie Foxx with a Black woman. Jamie Foxx does not care about Black women. Let me not say that, but I don't think he is genuine with that announcement. I don't feel like he truly wants to not be with Black or not be with white women. I think it's just a part of a joke. And what I find to be a trend oftentimes with men like Jamie Foxx is, oh, I'm going to praise Black women. I'm going to shout them out. Ain't not like my mama and my sister and all these things. And it's like, okay, but you don't like Black women enough to actually date and procreate with them. There has not been any paparazzi pictures, any just public displays of affection towards Black women whom he is intimately with. Now we've seen him have interactions, friendly ones, with Black female celebrities, but as far as I am genuinely with this Black woman in a romantic relationship, I have yet to see that from Jamie Foxx. So please miss me, Jamie Foxx, at your, what is he, in his 50s now? At your age right now, in your 50s, you are suddenly canceling white women to be a part of your romantic escapades. And now you are dedicating the rest of your life, at least publicly, to Black women. Ugh, it's just like, oh, you're doing us a favor. Oh, you're finally seeing Black women as the desirable women that we are. I just think sometimes, when people like that, when Black men do things like that, I think it's such an easy scapegoat, because Black women are often seen as, they're just so beautiful. They're just, so strong. They're all these things, yet not enough for you to want to be with, not enough for you to want to commit with. or commit to, not enough for you to want to share your life with. All of these things. And you see it as a separate thing. So when he's making the grandiose announcement of, I am no longer going to be with white women, I'm going to be with black women, it falls on deaf ears. It falls on deaf ears. I don't buy it. I think black men like Jamie Foxx, they will always have an affinity towards white women. I don't know why. And look, I've grown far. I've grown when it's come to my feelings about interracial relationships. Again, I remember growing up and just being in undergrad, going to different parts of my college campus and seeing so many black male athletes with white girlfriends. And I immediately felt this, like, these things. But after a while, you just have to just chalk it up to the game, right? Go towards people who like you. And what I've heard about those black men who would specifically and only and exclusively date white women, they'll say comments like, oh, well, black girls at the time didn't find me attractive. They will make fun of me and all this BS, like kind of pointing it out as the black girls being the villain here, right? I'm this horrible fixture, or at least those black girls. So that stayed with them for a while and led to them still exclusively dating white women. And not often you would hear, in my experience at least, not often have I heard those black men who dated or has had just consistent white girlfriends. Not often do I hear, oh, we just genuinely fell in love, right? It was always on some, well, the black girls didn't fuck with me, so I had no choice but to go to the white girls. It's like, that one black girl didn't fuck with you, who you were pining over, doesn't mean all the black girls didn't. But all in all, I feel like it's one of those things, you have to stop taking it personal. To my fellow black girls, my black women, I just think you have to just chalk it up like, okay, it is what it is, right? Some people are just gonna go to what they want to go to, and that doesn't just take away the beauty of me as a black woman, or just a symbol of black woman. It's not that big of a deal. So anyway, I say all that to say, Jamie Foxx, please, you're not doing me a favor. You're not doing anyone else who is a black woman a favor with your declaration of, I am no longer dating white women in public. Boy, bye. All right, let's get into these topics. So Megan Thee Stallion is filing a restraining order against Tory Lanez, who is currently in jail. He is currently in jail, yet she still feels threatened by him. She still feels like he is out to get her, and that, quote, she is undergoing psychological warfare. She also feels like he is repeatedly traumatizing her and re-victimizing her. So that is the reason behind this restraining order filing that she has put into place. Now, for those who may not remember, Tory Lanez has been in prison because of having a weapon, holding an armed weapon, and I guess being guilty in the assault that took place that dreary night when Megan Thee Stallion was allegedly scraped up on her foot, or behind, on her heel or something like that. Now, I'm saying this with so much hesitancy because I do think there is some mistruths or just straight up lies when it comes to this case. And I think Tory Lanez, being the black man that he is, and a lot of black men, they go off a certain code. I don't think he is willing to snitch or like really step forward and tell the truth. So in his eyes, he's probably thinking, I'll just do the time, I'll eat this up and I'll move on. Nonetheless, Megan Thee Stallion still feels threatened by him. She still feels like he is an aggressor. And despite him being in prison, she feels harassed by him. And this is primarily because she alleges that Tory Lanez is using other people who are on the outside, people who are in the free world, and using their popular social media platforms to strike against her, to harass her, to bully her, cyberbully her. And she's finally taking matters into legal hands. So Megan Thee Stallion has requested a restraining order and alleges these harassment claims. On December 17th, she filed the petition for the restraining order, requesting that Los Angeles Superior Court judge prevent Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, from orchestrating harassment against her through third parties. So yeah, so she is claiming that he's using third parties to harass her. And some of these third parties include very popular YouTube channels, one of which has a strong following and is known for giving news on celebrity gossip. I'm not going to say her name, but she is known for just giving celebrity gossip. She has a very strong tone, let's say that. Her tone is very hostile, and she's quick to cuss somebody out. She's just a lot. So I don't want to get into her names. I don't want to suddenly find my channel and be like, well, it's not back. It's just too much. I don't like cussing, and she cusses a lot. So let that be enough to tell you the type of person she is. Nonetheless, Megan Thee Stallion feels like even now, while he is behind bars, and despite him being sentenced for 10 years, she continues to feel re-victimized by Tory Lanez. Now, though he's been sentenced for 10 years, it's being alleged that he may be released earlier than the 10 years, like much earlier. It hasn't even been close to 10 years. How long has it been? Maybe it's at least 5 at this point. Yeah, but he's been away for a minute. Lanez was convicted. So yeah, not 5. So he was convicted in 2022 of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence after shooting the Grammy winner in her feet in 2020. This is according to this article. I don't know if I buy it necessarily, but this is the conviction title. In August 2023, that was when he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. So yeah, it definitely hasn't been 5 years. I don't know what I was talking about. Yeah, so he is in prison doing some time. He has since filed an appeal, and Megan Thee Stallion feels that the blogger who I referenced earlier, I'm not gonna give her name, that she has been recruited to engage in conspiratorial relationship about Megan Thee Stallion, and believes that she is churning, quote, out falsehoods related to the shooting that took place back in 2020. On Tuesday, Megan amended her complaint against Cooper by I gave the name up, by adding an additional factual detail from Mr. Peterson's prison call logs, which shed light on Mr. Peterson's conspiratorial relationship with this blogger. In these prison calls, Tory Lanez's father, when he thought no one was listening, asked his son about payments to be made to the blogger for her harassment of Miss Pete. How are they ever going to prove something like that? Mr. Peterson responded. Exactly, the filing reads. Okay, basically, Meg Thee Stallion believes that Tory Lanez has set up third parties, such as that famous blogger, to create conspiracies regarding what took place between Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion that fateful night. And she claims that this is proven due to the alleged payments that were given to this blogger over time. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised by this. I do think there are certain platforms who are, with her platform in particular, she goes really in on Meg Thee Stallion as if, and what I mean, I find her entertaining. Don't get me wrong. I've listened to her. I've had to subscribe and unsubscribe sometimes. I feel like, oh, she's doing too much. But nonetheless, I do find her entertaining. I think, though, sometimes with these bloggers and podcasters, and even with myself, I think sometimes we get so passionate. I don't feel like I do in comparison to some of these other people. Some bloggers get so passionate, so passionate about what is happening in the lives of these celebrities, and they take these sides with these people who they don't even know you. Like, seriously, they don't know you. They don't know you. They could care less about you. They don't know what's going on in your life. Like, I don't understand why it has to be so personal. But now that this blogger may allegedly be getting paid by Tory Lanez's camp, maybe that is why she's feeling so passionate. Nonetheless, this blogger consistently shows aggression and passion, quote unquote, in her display, in her rhetoric, in her explanation of different news. So I just feel like it's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, I mean, Meg Thee Stallion, she's within her right to fight against this legally. I don't see an issue with that. I really don't. I think we have to stop making Black people feel bad about using legal matters to fight against any injustices. We think, oh, the only way to fight against injustice is through the streets, right? Oh, you a rapper, you from the hood. Why'd you call the police? Because I don't want to go to jail. And I want to do this the right way, quote unquote, right? I want to do this the right way. I want to pull out some receipts and I want to hold you accountable, because the worst way to hit somebody is through legal matters. If I could hit your pockets intensely, right? If I could make you liable to pay me because of the suffering that you caused me, and I'm able to prove that, why wouldn't I use that method, right? So I just don't find it to be an issue. I think we have to normalize using, as Black people, we have to normalize using our lawyers. We have to normalize having lawyers. We have to normalize calling the cops and saying, I'll get my lawyer on that. You won't hear from me. You'll hear from my lawyer. We got to normalize that. Stop taking it to the streets. We getting killed from that. Stop taking it to the streets. Stop trying to handle it, with your fists. No. File some paperwork. Handle it like that. File some paperwork. So I wasn't mad when Drake did that. He decided to file a lawsuit and sue Universal Music Group because of their efforts, concerted efforts to take him down and hire bots, but use bots and just illegal matters to promote a defamatory claim against him, I support that. I support Drake defending himself. I really do. And I think genuinely he did lose the rap battle, but he still has a right to defend himself against allegations that are false, allegations of him being a pedophile. I don't think that's right for him to just go about it like, okay, whatever. No, these things really do affect your coin. It affects your family. It affects your surroundings. So why not hold people to the fire and say, talk about me like that again, your house is getting taken away from you. So I'm here for it. So shout out to using it the Karen way. All right. So Tiffany Haddish, speaking of using it the Karen way and going about it with the courts, we're not hearing enough about this update. With this update, y'all remember when Tiffany Haddish got just torn down because of these videos of her in this sketch comedy that she was filming with Aries Spears. And in this sketch comedy, there were underage children. And the skit included just inappropriate touch, inappropriate behaviors that were had against these kids. It was just an awkward, I don't want to play it. Y'all know, if you know, you know. But this was earlier on in Tiffany Haddish's career, I guess, and maybe she felt compelled to be a part of this because maybe at the time Aries Spears was more of a bigger name and she just wanted to be a part of whatever he has going on. I don't know. I'm trying to find a rationale here. Nonetheless, she was torn, like people just ripped her a new one because this is totally inappropriate. This is totally uncomfortable. Why would you be a part of a sketch like this that pretty much encourage child violation, if you know what I mean? Now, when I reported this, I remember saying, yes, this doesn't look good optically. It does not look good. And I didn't believe, according to what the kids who are now adults, but they were kids at the time, they claim that Tiffany and Aries touched them inappropriately. I didn't believe that part because I felt like, I don't know. If that would have happened, I just think at some point this would have been heard before. Like we would have known about this earlier. And apparently there's a history of those same people trying to blackmail her, trying to extort her. Anyway, we get to this case. Back at it again. Apparently they were battling in the courts for some time now. And Tiffany Haddish won. She won. And another thing, when this came out, I remember thinking, where are these kids' parents? Where are the parents of these children and their siblings? So where is the mother? Because I think the father wasn't in the picture at all. And apparently the mother was a friend of Tiffany Haddish. She's obviously no longer a friend of hers. And she agreed, apparently, to have her children be a part of the skit. And what threw me off was, I'm sure the friend knew about what the skit entailed, right? I would think so, because let's say if she did know, why would you okay this to happen, right? Why would you give the green light for your children to be a part of such inappropriate messaging in this sketch? That's one. And if they didn't know, if the parents were, or if the mother, if she was not made aware of it, maybe she was lied to, why wasn't the mom there? I feel like if I'm allowing my underage child to be a part of a sketch comedy, I'm going to be there during the filming, during the rehearsal. I want to know what's going on. And as I'm there and I'm noticing, oh, this is uncomfortable. This is weird. This is inappropriate. I'm pulling my kid out. I'm pulling my kid out. Find another kid. If you really want to push through with this stupid ass sketch that was totally weird and inappropriate, find another kid. Not mine. Anyway, Tiffany Haddish won. Tiffany Haddish won this case. According to this report here, Tiffany Haddish just walked away with a hefty victory that adds a nice sum to her already impressive portfolio. But this is not from a stand-up gig. Court documents revealed that Haddish was awarded nearly $100,000 in legal fees. This was basically a refund of all of the fees that she spent legally to defend herself. And because she won, she is now owed back that money that she spent. So the result of that is nearly $100,000. Her former friend, Trizza Morris, who accused her and fellow comedian Ari Spears of defamation. This drama took place back in 2023 when Trizza decided to file a lawsuit against the entertainers. At the time, she claimed that her children, who are now adults, were the ones who initially sued the comedians back in 2020. Their lawsuit alleged that Tiffany and Aries exploited them in inappropriate sketches that sexualized them. Both Tiffany and Aries stood firm, denying any wrongdoing and asserting that the lawsuit was merely a shakedown attempt to get some cash out of her. And again, this was a concerted effort for this ex-friend of Tiffany Haddish to shake down some money from Tiffany Haddish. This was something that was done more than once, and finally it was proven to be so, a shakedown, and Tiffany won. So I'm happy that this got cleared up. It's unfortunate that this is not being as loud in the public, in the media, as it was loud when the allegations came out that Tiffany and Aries were being inappropriate with underage children. So shout out to Tiffany Haddish. She deserves this win. I'm glad to see it got cleared up, and that's why I wanted to report this in case you were not familiar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up here for this episode of PODMAS. Be sure to like and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, I really would appreciate if you could donate to this grassroots podcast by sending whatever you can to the Cash App. The ticker is down at the bottom of this video as you are seeing it showing through. That is your way of supporting this podcast. I want to give a shout out to y'all because now I am at 300 subscribers. That is a big deal. That is a big deal for me. We are growing. We are glowing. At one point, I only had 12 subs. I would never forget. Okay. So I know how much of a grassroots podcast this is. So for me to have 300 subscribers, that's a really big deal. And I'm really so grateful. If you are listening and you're subscribed, shout out to you. We did it, Joe. And if you're not subscribed yet, let's go. We have more to go. I want to get to 500. I want to move forward and up, So thank you. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.